Hey, welcome to Live with Lynn. So if you're here, say hi. If you're watching the replay, be sure to type replay so I know you were here. I'm Lynn Huber, and I appreciate you being here today. So today I'm going to talk about disagreeing without damaging relationships. The Harvard Business Review says disagreements are an inevitable, normal, and healthy part of relating to other people. There's no such thing as a conflict-free work environment. In fact, disagreements, when handled well, have lots of positive outcomes. It's true, right? I mean, seriously. Suppose you're a citizen of a country with two main political parties, Party X and Party Y. You identify with the ideals of Party Y, and several relatives agree with you. However, your parents strongly disagree with your ideals, and they're pro-Party X. Your best friend also identifies more with Party X based on her religious beliefs. Considering you do not agree with some of the views, would you unfriend your best friend for not identifying with your belief system? Would you disown your parents? I would hope not. I would hope that you would find ways to coexist with those differences while still maintaining a healthy relationship with both your friends and your parents, right? That seems to be where we are right now, and it's getting pretty heated. I'm not immune to this either. I mean, it's a pretty touchy subject for me too, but luckily, I didn't mean for this video to be about politics. That's not what we're talking about. So, how do we disagree in general without destroying our relationships? Differences in opinions in the workplace or in the business world, they're normal. They're just normal, right? Even in life, when we come together, whether it's in a job or in a business or even in a social group, we come into contact with all kinds of people from different walks of life with different value systems and work ethics. And these diversities are bound to create a friction. Frequently we find ourselves clashing with somebody. These clashes are necessary because ultimately every person, no matter how diverse, is trying to achieve the group's common goals. The challenge comes when we equate a difference in opinion with an attack on our character or ability instead of seeing a difference in perspective. It is so important to know how to embrace diversity and handle disagreements in the workplace or in your life, right? I mean, for one thing, diversity, if we can have an open mind, we might learn something from these people, right? These people, I say it like that. I don't mean it like that. I mean, but anybody who's different than us, there's so much we can learn from them, right? The most important way to approach a disagreement is to remove the combat mentality. Often when we're confrontational, we become emotional and we're hardly paying attention to what the other person has to say. We get too invested in it, right? The key is to not feel attacked because the other person's opinion is different from our own. No one has complete monopoly over how things should be handled. And as such, every member of the group is allowed to have their opinion on what should happen or how it should happen or how a task should be performed, right? If the other person is confrontational, try not to return their aggression. Instead, take the high road and stay as calm as possible. I know, easier said than done sometimes, huh? But sometimes, I mean, seriously, it is hard. It is hard, but we want to be the better person here. That's how we all become winners. If we can be the better person, then the person that you're fighting with, both of us can come out ahead, right? And if you can stay calm, that might help the other person know that you're not actually physically or personally attacking them. Right? It helps them maybe to get a leash on their aggression and approach the discussion a little more rationally. At the very least, if you can be calm, you're at least not stoking the fire, right? So always approach a disagreement with a level of mutual respect. The other person should not walk out of the discussion feeling belittled or misunderstood. This means being mindful of the tone you use. We really have to watch our tones. I'm guilty, yeah. We really have to watch our tone, though, and also our body language, which can communicate more honestly than the words that we're speaking. Certain actions will communicate the extent of which you value the meaningful engagement with the other person. Even though you don't agree with them, doesn't mean you can't value the engagement and come to some kind of a solution, right? So show the person that they have your undivided attention by trying to listen with an open mind. Really work on that. Make them feel like their contribution matters, even though their way may not be how you normally would approach things. Choosing the right forum too for a discussion on differences in perspectives can be really critically important. If you choose to call out or confront someone in the presence of an audience, that's going to be more likely, they're going to be more bound to become defensive and to protect themselves from potential embarrassment. Other people who are looking on might also bring bias to a debate based on their personal convictions on the ideas that you're disagreeing on. Yeah, they might agree with you, but you know what? They might not. They might agree with the other person. So it's not always good to have other people in the debate, especially, it should just be between the two of you, right? So where there's clear differences on touchy subjects, keep it private. If you have to, invite an independent third party to kind of broker the peace. If that's, if it's that important, then it might be well worth getting somebody to help you. Allow yourself to be flexible. It's rare to find only one right way of doing things. The other person is probably equally as passionate about their perspective as you are about your own. Because the only thing we know is what we know, our way, what's in our head. That's what we know. And we obviously believe that. We obviously have strong beliefs about that because that's what we feel like we know, right? Well, the other person feels the same way. So be willing and ready to reach a compromise that can embrace both perspectives. The goal at the end of the day shouldn't be about you winning. It isn't about, oh, I won, I beat him, but rather a win for the both of you. Arguments are normal, but they're not worth sabotaging an overall solution, which translates to recognition or reward at the end of a successful task. They're not worth sabotaging your friendship or your relationship, right? Sometimes arguments can go in circles. Egos may not allow every person involved in the argument to give into a different perspective. And at the end of the day, you still have to work together, even if you disagree on whatever it is that you're disagreeing on. Right? So sometimes you just have to agree to disagree and find ways to come up with a shared solution based on a mutual compromise. It might involve taking the issue to a higher authority or a wider audience for a vote in the interest of what's best for the group. If it's important to a group, if it's just the two of you, there's no reason to do that, right? But diversity in the way we view things is so incredibly valuable, and it's so beneficial if it's handled maturely by everyone. We can learn so much from each other. Differences in opinions only add value when all parties are willing to envision the other person's approach to problem solving without feeling ridiculed or belittled for their own opinions. Ultimately, everyone involved should have a bigger picture in mind, a win for the entire organization at the end of the day, right? And ultimately, the bigger picture might be that we might learn from each other, or maybe we can bring pieces of each other's thoughts and beliefs together to come up with something even better, right? So now I'd love to hear from you. What helps you to remain calm when you're in a disagreement with someone? What thoughts do you have about this subject? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear your stories. Anyway, thanks for being here with me today. If you're watching the replay, thank you. I appreciate you. So go out there and have an amazing day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.